Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for being here. If you're new to my channel, make sure you click the subscribe button and the notification bell on so that you don't miss any of my tutorial. Thank you. So I've made a detailed tutorial about this skirt, and some of us here mentioned in the comment section that the print was so distorting that they couldn't see the descriptions properly, that I should do it on paper rather. So I decided to make this video on how to do it on paper so that you see it clearly. I hope this helps this time around. Thank you. If you'd like to see the full tutorial of this skirt, I'll put the link on the description box below and on the first comment under this tutorial. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to be describing how to make this skirt on paper. So for this particular technique, I'm going to start off with marking out the back side of the skirt. And as you can see right here, I've made allowance for the zip allowance right there. Okay, after marking your pencil skirt, as you can see right here, this is the waistline, the hip line, and knee line, and the full length line. If you want to know how to mark in these measurements, all the details are included in the real tutorial. Okay, so after marking this out, the next thing we are going to do is to pin this zip allowance right here, and we'll go over to the next level. See, I've pinned this up, and I'm going to open it up at the right side of my fabric. And this is the right side of my fabric, assuming. Okay, make sure you keep these details down because it's very important to cut rightly. Okay, so I'm going to be using this panel, this back side, to cut the front side of our skirt. So as you can see right here, this is the right side of the skirt. Okay, this is the left hand side of the skirt, and you want the slit to come at the left hand side of your skirt, and especially at the dart area of your skirt. So what you need to do is from the center back here, you're going to measure 4 inches right there, mark it right here, and take it all the way to the end. Okay, so when you're done marking this, we'll go over to the next level. Now when you're done marking it, this is what it should look like. And the first thing we are going to mark is the right hand side of our skirt, which is from this point up to this dart area. Will serve as the right hand side of our front skirt. So next thing you're going to do is to fold in the left hand side of this fabric. And when you fold the left hand side of the back side of your skirt like this, as you can see, we are still at the right side of our fabric right here. You're going to be measuring the largest portion of this particular part, which is at the hip area right here. You're going to measure this area, then add 1.5 inch seam allowance to that. Use it to cut a piece of fabric out. Now when you use the measurement I mentioned earlier on to cut out a piece of fabric, it should look like this. And note that this is the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so here, as you can see, I've made the measurement, and the seam allowance I mentioned earlier on, I ruled it out separately. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to place the back piece of your skirt wrong side to each other. And as you can see, I left this seam allowance out. So from the folded area you place to the seam allowance, then you are going to be cutting out this excess off, and the right side of the front piece of your skirt is ready. You're going to set this aside, and we're going over to make the left hand side of your front piece of your skirt. Now back to the model we are using, which is the back side of your skirt. We are done with the right side. Now we're going to mark the left hand side of the skirt, and you're going to repeat the same process by measuring the largest portion, which is the hip area right here. Add 1.5 inch seam allowance to a piece of fabric. Use the measurement to cut out your fabric. And when you're done doing that, you should have something like this. Also take note that you are going to be marking this on the wrong side of the fabric, okay, as you did for the right hand side. So I'm going to be placing the left side of the back piece on top of this, matching the seam allowances I've made right here with the dart area of the back piece. As you can see it here, it matches with each other. So I'm going to cut this out gently to carve out the side seam of the skirt. And when you're done doing this, the both sides of your front piece. Already. Now this is what it should look like after cutting it out. And the next thing I'm going to do is to place the front pieces so that you see it. And this is the wrong side of the front pieces. I'm going to turn it to the right side of the fabric so that you see what it looks like. So both pieces of the front skirt are ready. So the next thing you are going to do, I'm going to pin this together at the seam line with the allowance, 1.5 inch allowance I mentioned earlier on, so that you see what it looks like. So after stitching it together, I'm pressing out the seam line. This is what it should look like, and your slit is right there. So if you want a detailed tutorial on how to sew this skirt and everything with the waistband, make sure you watch the video. I'm going to put in the link on the description box below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.